Oh, there we go. It says live. I got it now. All right. Good morning, everyone. Listen, it's a partly cloudy morning. All right. It's a little
Partly.
heavy,
I would
heavy
say
on the
mostly
clouds.
cloudy.
It's heavy on the clouds. It's not partly cloudy. It's mostly cloudy this
Yeah.
morning. All right. So yeah, we're rocking week 3. A lot of stuff going on. I don't know if I can redo this, but oh shit. How do I get the volume off? It's not letting me.
Well, now you're frozen.
Oh crap! What did I do?
I don't know.
Oh,
there
here I
you go.
am. Okay. All right. So apparently I can't share because. All right. So I'm having a computer issue. So I'm using my phone so everyone knows. And
You're
so
having
I
a
can't.
computer issue on your phone. That makes a lot of sense.
No, I'm having a computer issue, so I'm using my phone.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, I got you.
So I
Sorry.
can't do the normal things that I normally do. It's a little tough. So, so it's week 3. Carolina, big win. We'll get into that game. Some big games. Eli Day. They're putting Eli in the Ring of Honor today. So I got obviously sporting my Eli jersey. Want a big shout out to the Bay Bridge Tunnel Police just for doing their job. I think the body cavity search was a little excessive, but hey, they're doing their job. Thank you for what you do, guys and ladies. Appreciate it. So
What's that, Bay Bridge? What are you talking about?
I got pulled over yesterday. I got
Oh.
pulled over and it was it was a big long.
Oh, that's why he's giving the shout out. He's thanking him for the full cavity search. He liked it. Actually, it wasn't rough enough for Coach. He wanted to
I was going to ask, did you have clothes on when you got pulled over?
Oh man, yeah, it was a great experience. It was great. So
I bet.
So Bay Bridge, isn't that New York though?
No, the Bay Bridge Tunnel goes from the eastern shore of Virginia over to Virginia Beach.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So, once you go over there, and I don't know, it's like 20 miles, but you got to go across a bridge, then into a tunnel, out, and then a more bridge, and then down into a tunnel. So, anyway, it is. But let's get into I just want to touch real quick if I can. Big upset. I mean, Clemson now. I mean, that's 2 losses for Clemson. When was the last time Clemson had 2 losses? I just thought I'd throw that out there because, I don't think they're a playoff team now. How do you have 2 losses and go to the playoffs?
No, they're done, especially in the ACC, what's going on. That was a killer yesterday, but they don't have the team anyway, and they don't have an impressive win yet. They've all been close games. Yeah, I'm sure he did get a reach around, Kevin. And I'm going to agree with Brian here. Let's get with the sports now. Let's start off Thursday night game. Panthers.
Wait, we were just talking college football, Brian. I mean, what the hell?
We're going to get in the NFL. We're NFL here. Good for college. Is there something big that happened?
I thought it was big. I mean, Clemson. How many times has Clemson lost twice already? I thought that would be big news.
All right. Well, let's start with the Panthers. Obviously, what's going on, Angela? Raiders about to get 3-0. We'll see.
Wow. Yeah.
I think could be a trap game for them, Angela. I don't know. I think today's the game. You're reading your press clippings all week. You think that the Dolphins have a backup quarterback playing. I think this could be a trap game for the Raiders. But let's start with the Panthers, obviously. Start 3-0 Thursday night, but not at a cost. They lose, obviously, McCaffrey. Stizz, a couple of weeks they're talking about right now?
They're actually talking about at least 3 at the least, at the very best. I mean, they're talking about maybe a week 6 comeback. So It depends if it's a grade 1 or a grade 2 hamstring strain.
Okay, so they lose McCaffrey. Not the, but Stizz knows he was his number 1 pick in fantasy. They also lose J.C. Horn, their number 1 pick. That's another big loss. He broke his foot. So 3-0, but not at a cost. But I want to start with this, guys. I'm going to ask you: are the Panthers going to be a playoff team this year, Coach? I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think they're on the cusp. They're on the cusp. They're still a piece or 2 away from being a contender, but they're at that stage where they could go and beat anybody right now. So, but obviously the injuries are cutting that. So we'll see next week without McCaffrey how well Darnold. A little bit more weight on his shoulders now. So we'll see.
Stizz, they a playoff team?
I don't think so. I think without McCaffrey, I mean that's a huge loss. Don't forget they got to play Tampa twice. They got the NFC East moving forward, so should be some couple wins there. But without McCaffrey, depending on how long he's out, I don't know, man. That's going to be a tall task. I can see them going backwards moving forward.
I agree. I think they're a fringe playoff team. I think they're one of those teams that's going to be competing for that last spot. Going to need to get a bounce or two to be able to get in. But I agree completely with you guys. Brian's got a question for you. Where does Josh Gordon go to? It's a good question. You know, Brian, I don't see what you guys think. Obviously, I think he's done in Seattle. But if I'm the Indianapolis Colts, who need a receiver, need another playmaker, do you give him a phone call? That's a team I would look at. Jarvis Landry's hurt. I don't know how long he's out for. Do the Browns give him a call and a return to Cleveland? Obviously a new staff. That's two teams in my head. There's any ideas in your head, Coach? Any ideas where Josh Gordon could land?
I think he goes back to rehab. I mean, so look, guys, 6 suspensions since 2013. I mean, the guy obviously can't get it right. I mean, how many teams have to give him a chance? Before this guy can get his head straight. I don't. He's eligible to play next week. They say, if he's signed with a team. I just don't know. I mean, there's going to be somebody that's eager to sign him and take a chance, but I don't know. I just don't see him make it through a whole year because he hasn't yet.
Coach.
Yeah, I think we'll see as we get a little. I don't think right now anybody's hitting the panic button. Right. But I think as you see the season move on and we get teams that are closer to a playoff in the playoff hunt, I could see a team bringing him on to add some depth to their receiving core.
Brian, they're allowed to smoke weed now. They weren't before. They're allowed to smoke weed now. I'm almost 100% sure of that.
Yes.
They changed it to CBA. They're allowed because their point was you're okay with us taking Percocets and painkillers.
Right.
We can't smoke weed. So they're allowed to smoke weed now. All right, Coach, on to your New York Football Giants. Is today a must win?
Absolutely it is. Absolutely. It is a must win all the way around. I mean, come on. It's Eli Day. You're putting the guy in the ring of honor and you're gonna crap the bed. Yeah. That would be unacceptable. And the owner already came out, trying to rattle cages that, Giants don't win today. So we'll see. But I think the Giants have a good opportunity because Atlanta's not that good.
Right.
So.
No, neither of the Giants, though. That's the issue.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And
the Giants.
Let's not forget, 1-7 start last year, and they were at one point again in first place in the NFC East. So anything could happen. But I feel like it's we got a bad bill of goods this year because of last year's. The bar was very low last year. We exceeded the bar, and now we put the bar up way too high because obviously we're not near the expectation of this football team. Yeah. Stizz, must win for the Giants?
It's a must win for both teams. Right. The good thing for the Giants is, Atlanta's given up the most points so far this year to quarterbacks, 37.05 per game. And he gave up 5 touchdowns so far to the wide receivers. So it's a good spot for Eli. I mean, if he wants to get it right today, this is where to start, and this is the team that they got lucky to play against. So, yeah. That's a good question by Anthony Price you put up earlier.
Anthony, obviously Brian's right. That's a possibility. Because I think Big Ben's done, and I think we all agree on that. Yeah. I think we all said Big Ben was done last year.
2 years ago, yeah.
The question is, will the Steelers bench Big Ben? A guy who's won Super Bowls and has the career he has.
Face of the franchise.
Right. Yeah. I think, you know how it is, Coach. It happened with Eli. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. They did it with Eli, and it's a bad look for the team and for the player, unfortunately.
Tom, what's up, brother? Good luck to you as well today.
Yeah.
It's our Giants fans.
Yeah, big Giants fans. He's hoping the Giants get on the board today. Anywhere else Cam will go. I just think, he said himself he brings too much of an aura. But, if you got a young guy, I think Cam, I agree with Cam. I do think he's one of the best 32 quarterbacks in the league. I don't disagree with that. But It's just where the position your team's in. Like, to me, you're only bringing in Cam if you're a team like the Steelers, where you think he might take your team from not a playoff team to a playoff team, or maybe to be decent. I'm just saying, Coach, that's the only – where else you're not taking the Indy because, Wentz can't take the heat with another guy coming in, God forbid,
Right. I just think you have more of a ceiling with Haskins than you do bringing in Cam. That's all I'm saying. I just think why waste and bring Cam in when you have the kid there? He kind of brings it a little bit more to the table.
Right.
The only downfall about bringing Cam in, which I think it's a good play to bring him into Pittsburgh, is that offensive line, man. Cam's a running quarterback, so that offensive line's a little bit of a problem for him.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. You saw what Cam did last year with the Patriots, helping the rushing game. So I do agree with you there, Stizz. And not just that, too. What I would say, more weapons in Pittsburgh.
Big time.
He didn't have much to play with in New England last year. The line wasn't great. The running game was pretty much all they had. They bring in the 2 tight ends, which I don't get. But, so maybe he can do a little bit with those Steelers weapons. Stizz, Johnson, he went out last week. Is he out this week? Do you know? Sorry to put you on the spot. He's
actually out till week 5.
Week 5.
It's looking like he could come back next week, but it's looking more like 2 week. Like week 5 he'll be back.
Now, guys, that's another thing I want to talk to you about. We talked about McCaffrey earlier, J.C. Horn. We found out yesterday Tua placed on the injured list for the first, for 3 games. Once again, all these early season injuries. Is the NFL or teams going to do something to make sure that these guys aren't going out so early? I mean, I think you got to start playing these guys in preseason or doing something, because there's a reason they're getting hurt early in the season because their body isn't ready to play.
Well, I think you got to go back to contact in training camp. There's no more contact.
Right.
No more contact, and that's part of it. Your body it's different when it's when you crash into each other than just kind of walking through, and that's what they do. And then in the game, it's totally different.
Yeah, and I think with the preseason too, that's their whole point. Well, we don't want to lose these guys. We're playing millions of dollars. But like I said, it's like showing up to football camp the first day with brand new cleats. Yep. And then you're shocked when you got blisters. Your body needs to get used to that physical, I mean, just everything, the physical beating. And then obviously, just the shape you're in. You can't go play a 60-minute football game off of just practice, I mean, they're not probably Debbie. She said they're not properly conditioned. And Jay, I would agree. Jay. It is. You talk to these guys in the 80s that played in the 70s, 80s, and that's what these guys are nowadays. It's really the truth. Stizz, go ahead.
No, totally different time period, that's for sure. And, Coach was a big proponent of the preseason and playing the preseason. And, I wasn't a big fan of it, but, I see now I'm kind of jumping on Coach's coattails here because you're right. I mean, this 2-hand touch in the preseason and in practice, I mean, isn't cutting it, man. You don't have to kill the guy. You don't want to be getting in fights. You don't want to be getting injured. But, hey, look, guys, who knows? This guy can go down with an ACL, a high ankle sprain in the first week of preseason or in practice, as we've seen, or he could go down in week 1 or week 16. I mean, what the heck's the difference?
Right.
I mean,
And, Brian, I understand what you're saying, but Coach, he'll tell you, there's shape and then there's football shape. You can go run a freaking triathlon or run a marathon, but there's also being what's called football shape. And that's just, you can't get in it without playing quarters and real time. And in practice, they practice in uppers now. They don't even it's not full speed. You can't hit the quarterback. It's go, Coach.
Well, I'm just saying, because there is not an exercise in the gym on the track that simulates playing football. You can't just go in a weight room, do this exercise, and it equates to, hitting on the field. There just isn't one. So unless you go on the field and actually hit and get accustomed to it, then, these injuries are going to keep recurring.
Stizz, question for you. Is that Dalvin?
Dalvin Cook. He hasn't been rolled out yet, but, I tell you, Minnesota would be smart not to play him today. Really? And, give you a little teaser for later. Alexander Madison, man, if he's out there, pick him up, because if he goes, Seattle's run defense, boy, he's gonna run all over him. See what Derrick Henry did. Right,
Stizz, 0-2, playing the Seahawks at home in a must-win game for the Vikings. Tough, gonna be tough if you don't have Dalvin Cook. He's gonna be all on our boy Kirk Cousins, who, and I'll tell you, for any gamblers out there, red alert. That is a shady, shady line to me. I think Seattle should be 4, 5, 6 points. That seems too easy. Seems too easy to get Russell Wilson, coming off a loss against the 0-2 Vikings at 2. So that's a little I think he still pissed about the bird. hey, I'm telling you, they should have covered that game. The Eagles just made mistakes. They're a young team. We'll see we'll really get a good barometer on the Eagles on Monday night. Now, Stizz, Coach, another thing I wanted to talk about. So the NFL is starting to crack down on taunting now. And this is 2 years removed from where they wanted to open things up. The team celebrations make things a little bit more enjoyable for the fans and the teams. I've even seen ones where they give taunting where they'll penalize a guy for late hit or whatever. Right. They'll just say point at the flag, and that's taunting. Pretty crazy. I don't understand it. Stizz, what do you think?
Yeah, I saw that come up on the news feed yesterday, and I don't agree with it, man. I get you don't want to instigate a fight. You don't want to see punches thrown, stuff like that. But, something as silly as I'm seeing, guys, spinning the ball on the ground for a first down and getting called, for a penalty. And then the next penalty, they're kicked out of the game. I mean, which is absurd. I mean, I go back to the old, Joe Horn days, pulling the cell phone out of the turnbuckle there. I go back to the TO, the Chad Ochocinco. I mean, I get it. You're looking for showmanship sometimes, but I enjoyed it. I mean, it was fun. It was something you look forward to. You were saying, man, what's Ochocinco going to do the first time he gets to the end zone? You kind of look forward to it. And that's what I miss. I mean, we all know NFL stands for No Fun League, and here we go. We're going back to that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I thought they were making some progress, though, because I think it's fun. Now, there's certain things that are going too far. T.O. going to the Star and showing up the Cowboys, that's too far. But the little fun games, I think it adds to the game a little bit. I really do. Coach, what do you think?
No, I think taunting, it's such a broad stroke. So because, I mean, trash talking is part of the game, and that's part of it. And now you're being penalized for that. I mean, so I don't agree. I don't. I thought like you said, Nick, it was going in the right direction, but now they're going backwards again.
Okay. Now, look, sorry.
No. I was going to just add to that. I mean, you can't touch the quarterback. You can't trash talk. I mean, what else is there left to do? It's football, guys. Right. It's not preschool. We're not coloring on coloring books. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Let's get with it.
Stizz, I agree. You're taking not just the fun out of the game, but just a part of the game out of the game. You really are. Right. And some of these late hits on the quarterback. What's a 300-pound guy supposed to do? You're supposed to lay up. If my weight's going, it's going. Like, I'm not going to lay up. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's going. And you see that sometimes where they're like, oh, well, he laid into him. It's like, what is he? I saw one where the guy even, was going down and tried, throwing his shoulder up, and they still threw the flag.
But then they go to the extreme. If you saw in the Charger game, the quarterback's still backing up trying to make a play, and they called I don't think they called it in the grass, but they called him down. Yeah. They didn't even let him throw the football, which the play, he was not in, what was it? He wasn't in a defenseless position. He was still trying to make a play with the football.
Right. Now, Sammy, I think that line last time I saw it's down to 7. I don't think it's 9.5. I could be wrong, but that was the last one I saw. Now I'm going to put you guys on the spot. All right, it's been 2 weeks, guys. Little early season power rankings. Who are your top 2 teams in each conference? I'll give you mine. NFC, I'm going to go Rams and Bucs, who are playing today. And I can't wait for this game. Really excited to see this game because it's going to give you, like I said, give you an idea of where these 2 teams are at. And in the AFC, man, it's tough. I'm still going to go with the Chiefs just because of the explosive offense. And then I'm going to go the Browns. But I'm telling you, really, really concerned with the Chiefs. I really am. Their defense is in trouble. They got ran on all last week by the Ravens. Really concerned about that defense. But as of right now, still been in the Super Bowl the last 2 years until I see another team kind of come out and show themselves, which is, you haven't really seen yet this year. I still question it. Coach, who do you got?
Well, in the AFC, even though, we talked about the Browns defense being so good and they really haven't shown up yet, I still think the Browns and the Bills are the top 2 teams. Like you said, there's some holes in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And then on the NFC side, I have to agree with you on the NFC. I mean, the Rams look really good. And of course, Tom Brady is Tom Brady until proven otherwise.
Stizz, who do you got?
Well, I'll tell you, it's odd to see, where we're at right now, only 2 games in, seeing, the Raiders in Denver being on top of the AFC. Right. But I'm sticking with Kansas City, and I'm going Buffalo in the AFC for the top 2 in the division, and then moving over to NFC. Look, we got Carolina and San Fran on top of that division, which is really odd. I could see both of them dropping off quick, but I'm going Tampa and the Rams. I'm riding your guys' coattails. I think they're the 2 best teams in the league as long as Stafford stays healthy in LA. I think that's a solid pick.
Now, let me ask you guys, any concern for Josh Allen with the slow start? Obviously last year lit the league up, and, I think he's like the 26th ranked quarterback so far after the 2 weeks. Any concern for Josh Allen, Coach?
No, I'm not really concerned. I just think, they read the press clippings. They read their own press clippings. And now, they got smacked in the mouth week 1. They were able to rebound with Miami. And this week, I think they're going to start, we're going to start seeing Buffalo, as the weeks progress. I'm still on Buffalo's bandwagon.
Yeah. Stizz, any concern for Josh Allen?
No, I'm on the bandwagon as well. I think he turns things around. I mean, the lack of a running game, we talked about it 100 million times, and this is 100 million and one, may hurt him a little bit, but no, I'm back on Josh Allen. Yeah. I think they turn things around and move forward.
I agree. I mean, let's not forget, too, the Dolphins and the Steelers, you're talking about 2 of the top 3 to 5 defenses in the league, too. So I definitely think that had a part in it, but he's definitely not as on as he was. He's have a little accuracy issues, which he always had. He was very, last year he was very accurate.
Great last year, yeah.
I think he got off to that hot September start, obviously, and the snowball just kept rolling down the hill. So I think that's just what happened with Josh Allen. But I agree with you guys. I think, he'll get it going. Another tough game, though, again today. Tell you defensive-wise, he didn't get a great start for 3 games because he got top 5 defenses in his first 3 weeks. So, but I do think he will bounce back today. Now, guys, some news out of, I guess it's in Tampa Bay now, but Brady's trainer came out and basically said that Bill Belichick never evolved in his treating of Brady. So essentially, he always treated Brady as that 22-year-old rookie. Never evolved, over time.
What was he supposed to do?
Well, no, but I mean, you did. It should evolve, Coach. When a guy becomes the greatest of all time and wins you 6 Super Bowls, it should evolve. One thing I want to say real quick, Coach, before I do shoot it to you, is if anybody thinks Alex Guerrero just spout this out and he didn't clear it with Tom Brady before, you're kidding yourself. Because if he pisses Brady off, it's the end of Alex Guerrero. So Brady knew he was going to do this. But go ahead, Coach, your thoughts.
I'm sure that's the case, but I don't know. You watch the Hard Knocks or whatever, the NFL, This Is the Life or whatever with those guys, and I never really. I know it's in front of cameras, but Bill Belichick is Bill Belichick. He's the same whether you see him in front of the camera, behind the camera, closed doors, whatever. He's the same guy. Doesn't change.
Right.
He doesn't change. So and it is what it is. So it's kind of that's the way he is. I don't see a problem with it. Hey, he got the best out of you. I mean, come on, let's throw this out. Put Tom in Tampa. We're not talking about Tampa with a dynasty. So I mean.
Well, in the 1 year we already won a Super Bowl, but if you're saying from the start,
back in what 02 or whenever Tom Brady was drafted, and he goes to Tampa. I mean, come on, we never even heard of the guy. He's probably out of the league selling insurance.
You don't think him and Chucky would have won 7 Super Bowls? All right, I'm going to ask Stizz this first question, and I think it's a good question. Does Belichick regret letting Brady walk, Stizz?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Bill's the best coach, we've seen in a long time, at least in my lifetime anyway. And look, he goes to Tampa Bay. He wins the Super Bowl first year with his team. They bring the whole team back. They got respect for him. I mean, I'm a believer. Now you see what New England's going to do this year. You see what Bill can fire up with with this team this year without Brady. Right. So I think he regrets it big time.
100%, I agree, Stizz. I think you got to. When you see that he's playing at this level still, I think he really thought it was going to come to an end. And I think now we see a part of the reason he was struggling was the Patriots didn't have the weapons, and I think that was part of Tom's frustrations with the Patriots. Obviously he wanted the contract extension. They wouldn't give it to him. But I think it was, put some guys around me. And now, too, let's not forget, I bet you if Tom stays in New England, Gronk would have went back to New England last year. So you wouldn't need to spend all that money on those tight end free agents who aren't that great anyway. And we all thought that they overspent for. You could have went and maybe got him a Julio Jones or something. And maybe now the Patriots – I don't think they would have won the Super Bowl last year, but maybe this year they're right back in Super Bowl contention. And I think that would have been very possible if you take Mac Jones and make it Tom Brady, you bring back up Gronk, and then you add a couple of weapons on the outside because that's what the Patriots needed. I do think he regrets. Coach left. Don't know what happened there, but no, I
Coach
agree.
Coach taking a nap.
Yeah, Coach is going to take a nap. There he is.
All right.
Coach, so to you, does Belichick regret letting Brady walk?
I think part of him does, obviously, because of all that you've accomplished. But again, football's a business. I mean, you can't keep rolling the dice. At some point, you got to start putting a quarterback in place. And honestly, with Tom there, you couldn't really give a guy a fair shake. And I think you had to move on business-wise and go from there. So, and come on. But Belichick, he loves the 2 tight end thing, and he's been trying since the whole Aaron Hernandez thing, trying to duplicate that offense. And that's why he went out. They drafted that year. They drafted tight end after tight end. They went, and now they're trying free agency. They're desperately trying to do that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Now, and look, next week we're going to see it, and I can't wait. As next week is when Brady returns to Foxborough to play the Patriots. So obviously we will be talking about that next week, as I think that might be the best regular season game. I know we had some good, maybe better teams where you had that Rams-Chiefs game. We had the Chiefs-Bucs last year. But I just think with all the storyline and the drama, this might be the best regular season game we've seen in years. Because there's just so much that goes to it with Brady's, 19 years in New England and the relationship with Belichick. I can't wait to see what happens. Real quick, Coach, more important to the Patriots dynasty. And I know, look, we all know, obviously, they both needed each other. We know that.
Right.
We all know that. There's no question in that. But Who was more important to that Brady's dynasty, Brady or Belichick, Coach?
Belichick.
Stizz.
I'm going Brady. I'm going TB12.
I'm going to break the tie, and I'm going to go with Stizz. I really do think it was Brady.
Why? I don't. I honestly, I don't. I think Belichick was able to put him into those schemes. I mean, come on. You put that talent on another team with a different coach. Brady's not winning like he did because Brady did win with pedestrian-type teams. He went out there and won with pedestrian-type teams. So that's coaching. That's a testament to coaching, not Brady. I mean, putting him in the right spot.
Yeah, I'm going to shoot it to you, Stizz, after I put my point. Coach, the only thing I would say, early on, I agree with you. That first Super Bowl, and it was more Belichick. But, I mean, the last few, I mean, the 25-point comeback, that was Brady. I mean, you look at the Eagles game. I mean, Belichick wasn't – that was, Brady gave him a shot to win that. Look, he leaves the first year he wins the Super Bowl. I'm not minimizing the impact of Bill Belichick, Coach. I'm not. But he's up with that. Let's just put it like this. Brady 1 year without Belichick's got a Super Bowl. Belichick without Brady, under 500 as a head football coach. You got to look at that, Coach.
Yeah, I agree with that, but wait a second. But also, and that's where Brady carries some weight because you know what? I'm shooting up to be able to play with Tom Brady. I'm not missing that opportunity. Right. Where Tom Brady's not there, and you saw the most of the defense opted out. Right. So I don't know. It's
for the one season, I get what you're saying, but still, Brady did win a Super Bowl. Stizz, go ahead.
There's no wrong answer here, guys. I mean, both good points, great points. I mean, they're both perennial superstars in their own, fashion. I mean, look, Brady goes, wins the first Super Bowl with a new team. Belichick, he just keeps on rolling, man. He creates the schemes. He put Brady in the right position all them years, and we'll see what happens moving forward. But there really is no right answer. I mean, good points on both sides, really.
Yeah. Okay. Now, obviously, we're going to wait. Me and Coach will talk about the Eagles tomorrow night because obviously, big game Monday Night Football against the Cowboys. So we'll recap today's games and talk some Eagles football. And we're playing the Cowgirls, the Cockroaches, the Cowboys tomorrow. So will be a lot to talk about for Monday Night Football. Can't wait. I'm really looking forward to this game because I really think we're finally going to get an idea. Because I still think there's some people that question where the Eagles are at, and I really think we're going to get an answer tomorrow. But let's talk about. I picked 2 games of the week this week to preview, and let's start with which I would say is the second of the two, not the game of the week. We all know, obviously, Rams Bucs, but Niners Packers. In a big game, obviously, for the Packers at 1-1, you don't want to start 1-2, and you don't want to lose to a team that, quite frankly, dominated you in the NFC Championship. Now, they did beat them last year, but the Niners had all kinds of injuries. So, big game. What's your outlook for that Niners-Packers game, Coach?
Man, we've got, I've been saying this. We got some heavyweight type fights early on in the season, that are big games early, and this is a big test for Green Bay and San Francisco because obviously San Francisco wants to get back to where they were, and Green Bay needs to really after that horrendous week 1 play Detroit, and great, you needed that cupcake to help you out. So now, let's see. It's a big test. I'd have to be, must win for Green Bay today.
I agree. Stizz, go ahead.
I agree as well. Green Bay has to prove their dominance. I mean, don't forget, San Fran was the big spot that Aaron Rodgers was looking at in the offseason. So, does he go out there and show San Fran, what he's all about? I mean, it was a nice cupcake game, like Coach said last week. It kind of boosted his level up a little bit after that blowout. But, you need to keep on reeling forward, Aaron, and see what happens. But it should be good. San Fran's injuries are going to hurt them. That running back injuries are going to beat them up because we all know San Fran's a run-first team. So I think that's going to be their kryptonite.
Yeah. And look, that Lions game, especially the first half, obviously, it didn't turn out like everybody thought. I know you see the score at the end of the game and you think blowout. Lions had a lead at halftime, and then Jared Goff became Jared Goff. Fumble, interception. Now, look, Rodgers kind of did throw him on the shoulder, him and Devontae, and they took over in the second half, But it's going to be a good game. And I think the key is going to be, Rodgers is going to have to throw him on his shoulders again. And as you know, too, Stizz and Coach, the Packers are going to have to stop that Niners run game. If the Niners run all over the Packers, it's over. Because they're going to have those 7-8 minute drives. They're going to leave Rodgers on the sidelines and let him sit. And they're going to get beat up. They're going to get beat up. You saw it in the Saints game. That's what they did. They ran all over the Packers. So the Packers better find a way. The Packers better find a way to stop the run. If they don't, the Niners are going to win by double digits. They're going to smoke them. So they better find a way to stop that run, or they're in big trouble. Because then that Jimmy G wants to play with a lead. That's how he's got to play. Well, he needs a running game and a lead. When he's playing from behind, Jimmy G, he just struggles. He's not that great of a quarterback. Being 10-0 in Ohio, do you think the Bears beat the Browns? No, I don't. Brian,
that's a tough sell, Brian.
And he didn't look too good against another Ohio team in Cincinnati. He had a bad pick. Yeah. Oh, look who it is. Glad the Packers can get a high pick. I don't think Aaron Rodgers would ever tank. I don't believe that.
Well, I hope not.
Yeah, Stizz has got him on fantasy. He might have a problem with Stizz if that were true. But look,
he's up, Billy.
The guy wants to land somewhere. You know what I mean? He's not going to hurt his career or his legacy by tanking. And you don't tank by throwing. What did he throw? 4 touchdowns last week. So, I don't subscribe to that. But, we'll see. That's a big game today. And then obviously the other big game at 4:25, the game we're all can't wait to see. Obviously, Bucs-Rams. A little unfortunate news because you want to see these teams play at full go. AB on the obviously tested positive for COVID. He's out, and you can't deny that's a big loss. That changes everything for that Bucs offense and for how the Rams defend him, because he's been that guy early that Tom's looked to. Because it's just they're obviously trying to take Godwin or Mike Evans out of the game, and AB's been able to have a lot of success. So that hurts. It really does. That's going to have an effect on the game. But obviously, big game today. Bucs-Rams. Coach, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. That's the game I'm looking forward to. And of course, I want the Browns to win today. I need that Bears pick to be in top 10. So I'm not rooting for the Bears to do well at all this year. Which kind of, it hurts when Green Bay is bad. You as a Giant fan right now, you're hoping Green Bay jumps out and runs away with the division so that, a team like Chicago calls off the dogs pretty much with it, like last year's NFC East, right. Everybody's fighting.
Oh, we know how you feel about AB, Angela.
Angela, that's not very ladylike.
Go ahead, Stizz.
No AB and possibly no Darrell Henderson, the running back for the Rams this week. So, but listen, these two teams are two offensive juggernauts. These quarterbacks are balling this year. Stafford, 599 and 5 touchdowns so far. Brady was 655 and 9 touchdowns so far. So, the over-under is 55.5. Vegas knows more than we do. So, we're looking at a lot of points scored today, and we're looking at a lot of balls going up in the air to whoever's available.
What's funny, Stizz? You hear that over-under at 55.5, but, he says take the over. But, you're talking about two teams with great defenses. The Rams are probably the best defense in football last year, but, the Bucs defense kind of underperformed so far this year. And now we all know, Coach will tell you, it's early. Defenses pick up over the year. You kind of start seeing how – plus there's new coaches out there, new schemes. Right. You see how these teams start to play. But the Bucs defense has been a little underwhelming. But I agree. I see the over too. I think Brady's going to get points. That offense is – I think they've won what is it, 9 straight games and scored 30 points in all those games. So the Bucs have just been clicking on offense, and they're really good. Look great. So I mean, I that's a tough game to pick though. It being in LA, man, it's a coin flip game. If I had a gun to my head, I gotta go with it. Like I said, I don't bet against Tom Brady. I'm gonna take the Bucs, but I think you guys would all agree that's a coin flip game. That's not a game I want to bet on. I could see it going either way. Turnovers is going to be the big thing, big plays. Yeah. So, and look, more pressure on Stafford too, because this is that one game now. He struggled against winning teams. I want to see what he does against a team of Tampa Bay's caliber. So we will see the big thing. Yeah, and look, Billy, you saw it in the Super Bowl. Every quarterback's kryptonite is pressure, including Tom Brady. Every quarterback's kryptonite is pressure. But let's not forget that Buccaneers defensive line is pretty good too. So, yeah, and the Rams offensive line isn't as good as the Bucs offensive line. All right, Stizz. Let's get to Stizz with his fantasy advice of the week. Stizz, take it.
All right, guys, here we go. Week 3. That Christian McCaffrey injury really put me down a little bit, but I'm gonna get back on the train. I'm gonna move forward. That's what you do. It's still early in the fantasy season, so let's go with the sits of the week. I'm gonna start off with my guy that I talked about the last couple of weeks, famous Jameis Winston. Game 1, 148 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. We looked at him and said, wow, is this the new Jameis Winston? Nah, hold your phone, hold your shorts on, because game 2, he comes back with 111 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks. Now we see the real Jameis Winston, and I think he's going to get a couple picks today as well. I mean, you look, 111 yards and 148 yards, not too good. So I'm sitting famous Jameis this week. I'm also sitting James Robinson. I mean, listen, he was drafted as your number 2 running back in fantasy. And I really had good hopes with him, especially when the news of Travis Etienne coming out, getting hurt. I mean, he was great last year. I think he had 985 rushing yards as an undrafted rookie. Yeah. Game 1, 25 yards, 0 touchdowns, 3 catches, 29 yards. Game 2, 47 yards rushing, 0 touchdowns, 3 for 17 on the receiving end. I have to sit him, and he's almost a wait-and-see approach. And, he's going against Arizona this week, who gave up the 10th fewest fantasy points to running backs. So he's a wait-and-see approach. Those are my 2 sits. My 2 starts, I'm going with 2 big-time wide receivers. A.J. Brown, 17 targets this year, 92 yards and a touchdown. Going against Indianapolis, who's 29th ranked versus wide receivers, giving up over 25 points per game. I think Tennessee gets right back on track. They're saying Carson Wentz is supposed to start today. I don't know how. I mean, he's got a low ankle sprain on one leg and a high ankle sprain on the other. I just don't know how he's going to do it.
Balance each other out, Stizz. That's all.
They're going to do the old pendulum. The old pendulum technique.
Hey, maybe he'll right the ship for Carson. Who knows what's bad?
I don't know. I mean, listen, Tennessee impressed me. Last week with a big win last week against Seattle. So I think AJ Brown goes boom. And I know we talked about, man, it's going to be bad if the Colts go 0-3. That's going to be a huge loss, but I'm riding the backs of Tennessee today. I think all players have good games. I'm also going to DK Metcalf today. That's going to be a great one, man. Seattle at Minnesota. It's going to be a high-scoring game, 16 targets so far this year, 113 yards and a touchdown. Listen, Minnesota ranks 31st, almost next to dead last against wide receivers. So that's my 2 starts. Couple waiver wire pickups. We talked about crab leg strikes again. He gets back. Yeah. I agree with you, Billy. I agree, my man. Waiver wires we talked about. I mean, listen, Kevin brought up earlier about Dalvin Cook. They'd be smart. I know they wouldn't be smart to sit him, but listen, man, if he gets injured more on that ankle, I mean, they're in trouble. I think you insert Alexander Mattison, go to your waiver wires right now, you pick him up, you stash him, you check out the news at 11 o'clock for all the injury updates, and if he's not playing, Alexander Mattison goes right in. Tony Pollard's another one. Look at the huge game he had. I mean, he's actually playing better than Zeke. There's
a lot of talk about it too, Stizz.
Right.
There is. 109 yards and a touchdown last week. He outproduced him, So he's not going to be available in most leagues, but if he is, go grab him. Last one I got to bring up, I mean, because of my Christian McCaffrey, Chuba Hubbard. The rookie from this year.
What a name.
We talk
Chuba
about
Hubbard. Sorry.
Chuba Hubbard. I love it.
What a great name, Chuba Hubbard.
It's like Hubba Bubba. Remember the gum?
Yeah,
Hubba Bubba? Yeah.
Listen, if I had a kid, I'd name him Chuba Hubbard. You know what I mean? little Chuba. I'm picking him up as insurance. I mean, we talked about, early in the year in fantasy, it's all about your handcuffs, and you got to know them, and you got to be on. So that's my fantasy talk for today, fellas. Get some of these comments while I'm reading.
Yeah,
I can't see them at all. So
yeah, well, we're used to that anyway.
Yeah.
When you were on Thursday, Coach, you were answering comments and not putting any of them up when you did your show.
I know I couldn't multitask. I'm out of practice because since you took over the controls, I can't do anything now.
That's this.
Yeah.
Billy Kyler's been balling, brother. I mean, you lock him up in FanDuel, man. Just count that money before the game's over.
Against the Jags? I mean? Yeah.
Oh, no doubt about it. He should have a heyday, man. Now you got to watch too. DeAndre Hopkins has a hip injury. Now, he don't miss games. DeAndre don't miss games. So I'm almost guaranteeing he'll play, but he's going to be a game time decision. So kind of look out for that.
All right, Stizz. Thank you for your Stizz's fantasy advice. Obviously, Stizz scrambling a little bit after the McCaffrey injury.
Yeah,
not something to hear. And it's been tough. But last couple of years you've had all these crazy injuries. So hopefully we don't see any in week 3 because my Eagles actually took a hit last week too, losing Brandon Graham and Brandon Brooks. Brooks, they don't know how long, but it's going to be for
and
I
thought my the other tackle, the big guy, is injured too. Hurt his knee in practice this week.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
So I'll have to look into that. I did not hear about that. Now we are going to get into Nevada Knicks picks. Not a good week 2. Obviously started 3-2 week 1, but not a good week 2. Hanging around 500 right now. Which, look, I'm good with 60% or above. Basically to make your money, you got to pick 56%. So I like trying to be 60% or above. I mean, it's early. Me and Stizz both struggled last year till week 3, and then Stizz just lit it up after that. I mean, he was just like the Tampa Bay Bucs down the stretch. He was on fire. And I did well down the stretch too, but obviously not 34-10 well. So my first pick, I'm going to go to New England. I like the Patriots -2.5. Saints on the road, once again, they had that COVID issues last week. They haven't been to their, at home basically in a month. I think they're out of Jacksonville if it is right now. I just think this is a good spot for the Patriots -2.5. Mac Jones has looked very, call him a game manager. That's fine. That's what Bill Belichick wants because he's got a top 5 defense. And I think the Patriots go and, you might see a field goal win here, but I like the Patriots -2.5. Then I'm going to go out to Vegas. I think this is a complete trap game. I think everybody's saying, well, 2 is out. And, the Raiders are 2-0. I'm taking the Dolphins +3.5. I might even, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised and thread the needle here if the Raiders win, but the Dolphins cover. I could see a Raiders win by 3 points, but I think, as crazy as it sounds, I'm not a Tua guy. I'm not a fan of Tua. I think Brissett actually might go in and do a little bit better than Tua. I just, it's one of those games. I just think it's a trap game. This is a game of desperation for the Dolphins. You don't want to start 1-2, obviously. I like the Dolphins plus 3.5. Then I'm going to go out to San Francisco, and I'm going to take the Niners -3. I don't think they're going to be able to – the Packers are going to be able to stop that Niners rushing game. I think they're going to put a lot of pressure on Aaron Rodgers. That offensive line has struggled. You saw what the Lions did to him in the first half. I think you're going to see a lot of that this week with the Niners. You're going to see Bosa putting pressure on him. I think the Niners are going to win this game by a touchdown and put the Packers to 1-2. My next game, Colts +5, baby. Last week, hey, I don't care if you win as long as you cover. The Colts last week lose, but they cover because I had 3. That hook helped me. Obviously, Carson's going to try to give it a go this week, but this is a game. This is where you like, especially the Colts. They're a proud team. You're going to see their best game today. They're going to ball out. They're going to run the football. They're going to play some defense. I don't know if they're going to be able to win, guys. I really don't. But I do think they will end up covering the 5. It's a lot of points for 2 division rivals, especially these 2 who have really been battling the last couple of years. So I'm going to go Colts +5. And then I'm also going to give out the Bengals +3 today against the Steelers. I think the Steelers are in big. I think the Steelers are in big trouble, guys. Yeah. I think T.J. Watt out for that defensive line. I really think Big Ben. Your team's one-dimensional. They're going to stop the run, and Big Ben's a statue back there. I like the Bengals +3 today. You guys might think I'm nuts, but I like the Bengals +3. I think they're going to win this game outright. And then my 2-team teaser, I'm going to go Browns -1 against Chicago and the Chiefs -1 at home against the Chargers. Those are my picks. Now, Stizz, your prop bet of the week. Go ahead.
I got a big one, fellas. Al Bundy over 3.5 touchdown passes for Polk High. Listen, if you guys remember, he had 4 touchdowns in one game, okay? And a last-second touchdown against spare tire Dixon, all right? So I'm going the over. Now, okay, in all seriousness, I had to bring that up because I put that on my Facebook feed, Al Bundy.
Stizz,
we're going to say, Nick. Yeah.
You want to answer this for Billy real quick before you give your prop bet? I'm sorry, Stizz.
I love it, Bill. Count your money, brother. I told you. Count your money, man. Go get yourself some lobster. Go get yourself some lobster and some nice things for yourself. Get a nice velour sweatsuit for the winter time, and you'll be set, man. Spend that money, my man.
Sorry about that. Stizz, prop bet of the week. Sorry.
Nah, no sweat. So I'm going Tyler Lockett over 73.5 receiving yards. Listen, week 1 he had 100. Week 2 he had 178. He's the deep ball guy, it seems like, for Russell Wilson. I mean, he's catching 60-yard passes like they're going out of style. So he gets another one of them today, and he's almost there at that 73.5. Minnesota versus wide receivers, 3rd worst in the league so far, giving up 53.5 points per game. Total's 55.5. I expect it to be a high-scoring game. The big news is Tyler Lockett's got Brashard Breeland in coverage. This dude is a dumpster fire, quote unquote dumpster fire. He should be able to run right through this guy. So over 73.5, Tyler Lockett. Chalk it up. Let's get back on the win streak, fellas.
All right,
guys. Now to our lock of the week, which means you should bet the other side so far because man, just think you would have made a lot of money if you went against our locks of the week. So, guys. If one of us doesn't win this week, we might retire the lock of the week.
Yeah,
because of just a pure embarrassment.
Don't worry, I got you. I'll carry the team.
Coach
carrying it.
Stizz, lock of the week.
I'm going. Ron Sunday night. I'm going Aaron Rodgers plus the 3 and a hook. Okay. I almost like him outright, But I like that. I like that 3.5 points, and I think Aaron goes out, proves a point tonight, gets back on the winning scene, and yeah, I'm going to try to get back on the train, and hopefully I don't have to count on Coach to pull me through.
Now, one thing I will say about that game, Stizz, I do like the Niners, and I think it's going to be because of the Packers defense, though, not because of Aaron Rodgers. I do like, Aaron's been questioned by some people, and I know it. We all know last year he went in pissed off because of the whole Jordan Love situation, and he was pissed all year. I think he's got a little bit of that back with people questioning whether he wants to play, and he had some criticism from Jermichael Finley and Bill Cowher, and he wasn't happy about it. So I do like that Aaron seems pissed off again, because I think it's good for his play. My lock of the week, Dolphins plus 3.5. I like this game. I really do. I just think this is a trap for the Raiders. I like the Dolphins plus 3.5. I think that defense, I've always said with the Raiders, Raiders are a good team. Raiders are going to be a playoff team, I think, from what I've seen so far. Look, they beat the Ravens and the Steelers in week 1 and 2. If the Raiders win today, they will be the first team in history to start the first 3 weeks with wins against double-digit win teams from the year before in history. It's never happened before. So the Raiders can actually make history today. But I don't think they will. I think the Dolphins are going to win. I think that I'm just not in love with that Raiders offensive line, the lack of the running game. Is Josh Jacobs playing today, Stizz?
No.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But, yeah, I just got a feeling Dolphins are my plus 3.5 for my lock of the week. Now we go to Coach, and surprise, surprise, Coach's lock of the week. Good, Coach.
Well, I was torn, though, because, no one's really mentioned this. You don't think that the Patriots have a trap game this week? They're not looking past to Tom Brady next week?
Maybe you could be right, but I think that's more for Brady than it is for the Patriots. I really do.
All right.
A lot of those guys, it's a different team. Only a certain amount played with Brady. Don't get me wrong. I think it matters. I think that matters more to Belichick and Brady, though. But, Coach, right. Coach, go ahead. Your lock of the week.
Well, obviously, we're going to go with the Giants. It's Eli Day. We're retiring his number. We're putting it up in the rafters. Yeah. And it's must win, too. Got to win. It's must win for the football Giants today. So I'm going with the Giants. I'm being a homer, and
Coach,
that's what it is.
Let's be honest. Was the Giants your pick because it was your pick, or because you were hungover and didn't look at the lines and didn't have a pick? What's the answer to that, Coach?
Oh, come on, man. It was rough. It's still mostly cloudy instead of partly cloudy this morning. I just pulled. I only knew that was the only one I knew, and so I went with that.
There's Billy hitting his head for you.
Yeah.
Hey, I heard the Giants won a custody case. That's when they said judge asked the kid reply was. So
sorry,
all right,
I can't read it because it's too small above my phone.
Sorry, Coach. Yeah, well, you're on your phone. So
yeah,
Coach is in all kinds of trouble. But Coach, you want to take us out?
All right, thanks everyone. We appreciate you checking us out. Share it with your friends, like our page, ring the bell, go over to YouTube, subscribe, all that stuff. We appreciate it. We'll see everybody tomorrow night. We talk the big Eagles Cowboys game, and we'll recap everything today. So go Giants, and peace out, everyone. Be safe. Thanks.